Right now it's 6. Breaking news: a San Jose police officer shot during a chaotic gun battle with an armed carjacking suspect, all prompting this massive police response downtown. We're awaiting a news conference and we will have a live report. Plus, Vallejo police getting a public safety boost, but not everyone is convinced it's going to work.
But gives a little relief to the officers that are working in Vallejo that are stressed day in and day out.
I see it when I believe it because, I find it really hard to believe.
All about the new partnership with the Solano County Sheriff. Plus, how advocates for the transgender community are hoping to preserve a piece of their history in San Francisco.
It's important for us to really make sure that the actual space where trans women got to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee, that physical space remains.
The next steps to protect the site of the Compton's cafeteria riot.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. We continue our breaking news. This out of San Jose tonight. It is a massive and chaotic scene downtown right now. An officer shot after a gunfight with an armed carjacking suspect. Here's what we learned just moments ago. The suspect is dead. Now, this is happening on Julian Street. This is near Highway 87. It happens to be right in the downtown area, not too far from San Pedro Square. Len Ramirez is on scene. He joins us now. Len, what can you tell us?
Well, this continues to be a massive police presence here in downtown San Jose. We're at St. James Street, and the crime scene, the shooting scene, is just down a couple of blocks from where we are right now. You can see the officers' cars there, the officers that were involved, and investigators now taking over the scene. A lot of crime tape in the area as well. Now, this all got started around 3 o'clock in the city of Hollister. We understand that there was a carjacking of a Corvette in that location. That started a police chase in that vicinity and ended up in another location. We're not exactly sure where at this point, but a second carjacking happened, and that brought us here to San Jose, a long distance traveled, maybe 30-40 miles before they ended up here at St. James and Highway 87. Now, apparently the driver of that vehicle came to a stop at St. James Street, just taking the exit here, and then there was a shooting, a massive shooting. I want to just play the video of some of the dozens of shots that were fired. Now, this is all happening right in a very populated part of downtown San Jose, newer apartment buildings all over the place, office workers, people working, trying to get to and from school in downtown, all happening right in front of their eyes. Here's what one man who just arrived home had to say. He saw it happening.
They stopped, about 40 rounds of gunshots popped off, and from there, it lasted about maybe 30-45 seconds of a firefight. Crazy, man. It was the closest thing to war most people will ever experience in their whole entire life. That was crazy. I mean, it was nonstop for about a minute.
We have other witnesses who saw the whole thing happen. They saw a suspect, and from their account, the suspect got out of a police vehicle and started off on foot, and that was when you hear all that gunfire happening. At a certain point, that suspect seems to have been hit by the gunfire and goes down in what looks like a center median. We're going to play this video, but stop it right before what happens next, and that is an officer running over the suspect's body in that median. But we're going to show that video right now, but be advised, it is somewhat disturbing. Now we're back on scene here in downtown San Jose. You can see the investigation just getting started. We do anticipate, Juliet, in a few minutes, the San Jose Police Department public information people coming to this location to give us a statement. We also want to update the officer's condition. Again, that officer was taken to Valley Medical Center. There is a massive police presence there. At the trauma center, we understand that he is in critical but stable condition at that location. We anticipate getting more information during this hour, so we may be coming back to this location for an update from San Jose PD. But for now, back to you.
All right, Len Ramirez, thank you so much. We'll await that news conference as well. We want to go now to Ann Makovic. And Ann, I know that you've been looking into more into the officer who was shot. What more do we know about him?
Yeah, we don't know much at this point, Juliet, just that this person is a police sergeant with the San Jose PD, which indicates they have some rank. They might have been there for a while. Right now, as Len mentioned, in stable but critical condition. Soon after the shootout, our chopper flew over Valley Medical Center in San Jose. We saw a bunch of police vehicles there and a circle of officers standing outside. The Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department posted on X that their thoughts and prayers are with the San Jose police. And that witness that we heard from earlier, they say they're grateful for the quick response today.
God bless our first responders, and they ran towards the firefight, and I can't imagine how that must have felt. It's insane,
Again, we have an officer shot. We have confirmed that the suspect has died. We have been following this on our stream, CBS News Bay Area, since it started unfolding this afternoon, and we are going to continue to piece it all together. Juliet.
Ann, thank you. All right, we want to show you some new video. This is out of Hollister. It's a large scene there, and you can see that green Corvette right there. Hollister police say the suspect killed in San Jose was driving that stolen green Corvette earlier this afternoon, got involved in a gunfight with law enforcement. So he abandoned the car and then ran off armed with a gun before taking another car. Hollister police say the suspect then drove off toward Santa Clara County. We've been following this since it developed. We'll keep an eye on the situation in San Jose, and we are awaiting a news conference. We'll bring that to you just right when it starts. You can also stay up to date online at kpix.com. All right, we'll also get to some other news right now, news that we're following. A new partnership is happening to help boost public safety in Vallejo. The department is now getting support from the Solano County Sheriff's Office, and its supplemental support, they say, is very much needed. So according to the most recent staffing report from March of 2025, Vallejo Police had 55 officers on its patrol division and 5 more on its traffic division. In all, Vallejo PD had 78 total sworn-in staffers at that time, with a plan to add more each year, including 7 officers this year alone. So our Brad Hamilton talked to the Solano County Sheriff about the extra support and one Vallejo resident who says he's taking a wait-and-see approach to all of this.
A safer Vallejo benefits the entire county. That was the message from the sheriff of Solano County, whose own department is now helping out a depleted Vallejo PD. But at least according to one resident, he's going to need to see real change before he believes he's safer. Omar Hernandez jokes that his Vallejo home has enough surveillance signs and cameras for the entire block. He says it wasn't always this way, but it has become a necessity.
I hear gunshots, I hear people doing donuts.
Despite the noise and the crime, Omar says he still felt comfortable living in the city where he grew up. That is until last October, when a missing 28-year-old San Francisco woman was murdered, her body found hidden in the attic of a home just a few doors down from his.
I want to move out of here and don't want to be here, because plus too, I have a son. I don't feel safe for my son to be around here in Vallejo as much.
Omar told us that he thinks part of the problem is the community's lack of faith when they dial 911. For the past 2 years, Vallejo police have struggled with staffing shortages, leading to slower response times and heavier caseloads. But now it appears help is on the way.
We are transitioning to this vehicle with this branding.
Starting today, the Solano County Sheriff's Office will send a dedicated team, including a lieutenant, a sergeant, and 6 deputies to patrol East and South Vallejo. They'll answer calls 4 days a week, from Wednesday through Saturday, during the afternoon and overnight hours. Sheriff Brad DeWall says the goal is simple.
At the end of the day, what the community can expect is a reduced response time when they call 911, which is our ultimate goal.
The sheriff acknowledged the challenges of using his own resources to fill the need for another department, but he says that they are committed to making it work.
These folks, by the way, like kudos, like they stepped up, they want to be part of it, they volunteered. So this team volunteered because they want to make a difference in our Vallejo community.
But for Omar, promises aren't enough.
I see it when I believe it because, like, I find it really hard to believe. Like, I see American Canyon officers over there, they respond like, hey, we're there, quick.
He says he'll be watching closely, hoping this time more badges on the street actually means feeling safer at home. The sheriff told us that they're going to help out with Vallejo PD until the end of 2026. Hopefully by then they will have hired and trained a number of new officers.
A key site for San Francisco's transgender community is a step closer to getting a new recognition. Compton's Cafeteria was granted a historic designation unanimously approved by the city's Historic Preservation Commission. So the Board of Supervisors still needs to sign off. But as our Kelsey Thord shows us, advocates say today's marks an important milestone.
Santana Tapia has been at the forefront of the fight to get the building that once housed Compton's Cafeteria at the intersection of Turk and Taylor added to the designated historical site by the city.
It's important for us to really make sure that the actual space, the walls that protected our people for so many nights, the places where like trans women got to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee, that physical space remains.
Back in the 1960s, Compton's was a place where trans women would gather to chat and build community. In 1966, it became the location of one of the country's first riots, sparked by the mistreatment of the trans community by police.
One amazing, fierce advocate was over it. She was over not being able to have a space where she could just exist. So she threw a cup of coffee at a police officer who was harassing her, and a riot broke out.
That riot happened 3 years before the more famous Stonewall riots in New York City. It's that history that is pushing current advocates to make sure the site remains preserved.
I personally like to tell these stories of resistance because when there is so much being pointed at trans people these days, particularly trans youth, I think it's important to know that not only have we existed, but that we have a history of standing up as a community to take up our space.
Compton's Cafeteria is actually already designated a historical site at the federal level, but local advocates like Santana want the city to also expand its own historical designation to protect the building from any future demolition.
I want students and future generations to not only know, but to be able to go up to those walls and touch them, and to feel the power and the legacy that's there, and to be proud of what San Francisco represents.
Santana's dream is that one day a new gathering space for the trans community can go in that same location. But in order to do that, the building has to remain. It's up to the Historical Preservation Commission and eventually the Board of Supervisors to decide whether or not that will happen.
Activist group Compton's Coalition says it's also pursuing the city's appeals process to oust the current owners of the site, private prison operator Geo Group. They have hoped to have one day transform the space into a place that honors its history. All right, we want to give you another live look from San Jose right now. We are awaiting a news conference from police after a wild shootout involving an armed carjacking suspect. We now know the suspect is dead. An officer was shot and is in critical but stable condition. We'll bring you the latest and the news conference just as soon as it starts. Wine imports could soon cost a lot more if President Trump follows through with a new tariff threat on France. It has some California wine shops worried about their future. On Monday, the president threatened to place a 200% tariff on French wines and champagnes. It's because the country's president said he would not join Mr. Trump's so-called Board of Peace, originally created to help end the war on Gaza and oversee reconstruction. One San Diego wine shop owner says a tariff that large would mean cutting what products they carry.
The cost of goods have jumped 30%, and the tariffs are just a piece of that, a big piece of that. That tariff has to be paid immediately upon importing the wine. It would mean we can no longer import French wines while that tariff is in place.
This morning during his speech in Davos, President Trump brought up the wine tariffs again as he told a story about a disagreement with the French president over prescription drug prices and the threat of a 100% tariff during that talk.
Temperatures across the Bay Area very close to what's normal for this time of year for most of us, upper 50s and low 60s. But where the fog was stubborn this morning, only upper 40s in Concord. We will disrupt that fog pattern over the next couple of days. We'll take a look at the extended forecast, see if we can find some rain coming up in First Alert Weather.
After the most successful inaugural season for an expansion team in WNBA history, the Golden State Valkyries, they're gearing up for the 2026 season. All-star Kayla Thornton helped release the schedule today by showing off her graphic design skills. Golden State will host 22 games at Chase Center, including the Phoenix Mercury on May 10th. The Valks season tips off on May 8th in Seattle if the league and players union can agree on a new collective bargaining agreement before then. I call it the Valks, Paul?
I guess so.
Okay, I just
you
did.
pulled it off.
The Valks.
That collective bargaining agreement's going to be a big if.
I'm staying out of that.
Let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise. And we have a lot of cloud cover that's been streaming through the skies over the Bay Area as the storm system is swirling away off the coast, but it doesn't have access to a whole lot of moisture. This is the same storm system that, as it tracks across the country, is going to lead to all kinds of wintry headaches east of the Rocky Mountains. Talking about widespread snow, sleet, and ice. Travel impacts are going to spread across the country as we head through the weekend. But while that storm system is hanging out off our coast, well, it's trying its best to send a couple showers towards us. There's a little bit showing up on the radar over the past 6 hours, but it's mostly falling apart as it tries to track into the Bay Area. So nothing more than a couple of sprinkles, the most likely scenario as we head through the rest of tonight. Let's take a look at the local map and take a look at Futurecast through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, just to be on the safe side, see what we can see. That's trying to bring a few of those sprinkles across the Bay Area, but again, the odds of even picking up 1/100th of an inch of moisture are pretty low at this point, lower than 20%. And by the time the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we'll be back to a mix of clouds and sunshine, and that's what we'll see throughout the day tomorrow. So no significant rain in store for us as we head through the next several days. The next good chance of rain as we look at the rain forecast for next week, just goes Sunday through Saturday, the last week of January. It heads our way by the middle of next week. Next Wednesday, a decent chance of scattered showers. Doesn't look like it's going to be a lot, but it'd be the first rain that we've seen at that point in 3 weeks. Third time in the last 5 years that we've had a 3-week plus dry stretch in the month of January. This is becoming a regular occurrence that we really don't want to see because it impacts our air quality. Another chance of rain, though, heads our way for the last days of January, looking a little bit farther beyond the 7-day forecast. Today's air quality wasn't great. We had that haze on the horizon, moderate air quality for much of the region with some orange dots mixed in. That's unhealthy for sensitive groups. So if you notice a little change in my voice, it's been attacking my voice a little bit. Looking forward to kind of disrupting that pattern a bit, which we should see as we head through the next couple of days. Moderate ratings across the board tomorrow, but that storm system passing through, while it's not dropping much in terms of moisture, it is going to stir the lowest levels of the atmosphere, and we should have better air quality by the time we finish the work week and as we head into the weekend. Looking outside right now, clear skies with a mix of clouds and clear sky at the moment. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s for most of the Bay Area, but the exception is Concord, where you only made it up to 49 degrees in the first place today, with a fog hanging on this morning, keeping temperatures below 50. Pretty much everybody else, typical territory for a January evening. Dog walking forecast for tomorrow is brought to you by an adoptable pup. This is Osido, who is adoptable from Lily's Legacy in Petaluma. There's that mix of clouds and sunshine throughout the day with near normal temperatures. I'll put up a link to Osido's adoptable information on social media right after this weathercast if you have room for a big old senior pup in your life. Let's take a look at the forecast. High temperatures for tomorrow, which are going to be within a few degrees of average. Even the cool spots east of the Diablo Range, you don't see that blue on the map in the Central Valley anymore because we are going to disrupt the Tule fog pattern. So a mix of upper 50s and low 60s across the entire Bay Area. Doesn't really matter if you're inland in the East Bay, closer to the coast, around the Bay, or in the North Bay. Those temperatures are going to be within a couple degrees on either side of what is normal for this time of year. Not much change. There's some ups and downs on a day-by-day basis as we head through the weekend into next week, but basically hovering within a degree or two on either side of 60 through the middle of next week. But there is that next chance of rain showers headed our way on Wednesday. Again, hard to believe by that point we'll have been dry for 3 weeks in January, which is not what we should be seeing right here.
I was going to say dry January, but
not that kind.
Not that kind.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, another live look right now from San Jose. We are waiting for a news conference from police after the gun battle involving an armed carjacking suspect, and we know the suspect is now dead. An officer was shot. We'll bring you a live report and the news conference as soon as it starts. We'll be right back. Before we go, we want to get back to our breaking news tonight. A deadly shootout between San Jose police and a carjacking suspect. The suspect is dead, and an SJPD sergeant is in critical condition right now at the hospital. This all unfolding tonight in downtown San Jose. So we'll go to video. You can see a massive police response. It was just off of Highway 87. That's not far from San Pedro Square. Police from San Jose and Hollister, along with CHP and Santa Clara sheriff's deputies, were all involved in different chases and shootings at some point today, and then it ended in downtown San Jose. So that was cell phone video capturing the chaotic chase coming to an end. Witnesses say dozens of shots rang out. You could hear in that video. The suspect ran out of a car, fell to the ground, and then was run over by a police cruiser. So right now we'll show you the live podium, a live look at the podium that's set up beyond that police car. We expect to hear from San Jose Police any minute. We'll continue to cover this, and we'll have it streaming on CBS News Bay Area, and also another live report at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, CBS Evening News is next with Tony DeCopo. Local news continues on our streaming service. We'll carry that news conference should it happen in the next half hour. And again, we're back here at 7 o'clock with more news just for you and an update to the situation there. Thanks for joining us.